Good enough, and just basically sent him home with a dishonorable discharge. And one of the things that they used the judge used for reasoning on that whole thing was a psychologist interview with him that said basically he had suffered post-traumatic stress syndrome as a child. And I think that in the United States of America now, we're talking about all these people that are going off and just doing really crazy, stupid stuff, have been brought up in a country that has basically abused them to the point where they don't see anything other than abuse being the reality. So, given that, you got to sort through this. Imperfection and the making of the perfect child. God is shaping his perfect child, a whipping boy, a sacrificial lamb, one who will speak only when spoken to. This, the embryonic reality of demeaning words, tyrannical demands, welts laid on by belt-wielding hands. This, the self-absorbed, ill-equipped parent, sadistically committed to the cause, the drunken ego, the self-righteous son of a bitch, the all-too-powerful nemesis, constantly careening out of control. Says he is the master, says he is the master plan. This, the shaping of personalities, multiple and maddening, a fist to the mirror, a shattering of all things fragile and innocent. Expectations of failure, the useless tool, the stupid student, the sickly kid, the pick-on-me pincushion, who would be, could be nothing but trouble, one more mouth to feed, a noise to be silenced, a shame to be hidden away, bred to be masochistic, a stoic slave, a piece of flesh for the pressing, and just curious enough to be a reluctant voyeur, peeping through the neighbor's windows, seeking the occasional glimpses of some storybook normalcy, the need to witness the other side of life and living, said to be the beginnings of various manifestations of your typical delinquent, deviant behavior. But wasn't this the chosen child, the one who was singled out, who better to blame for everything? When uncertainty and imminent disaster seep in like acid rain, when the urine of self-loathing runs down the psychotic cracks of rancid brains, when the constant dripping of manic depression plinks and plunks into various scattered pots and pans, these are the times that try men's souls. Best to have a chosen child, a child to bear the brunt of sudden and surreptitious knee-jerk reactions, to absorb the backhanded retorts, to endure the kicks, the punches, to suffer the slings and arrows surely meant for greater gods. Skin torn and stitched and torn and stitched together again, bones picked apart, then meticulously reassembled, this emaciated, immaculate corpse, surviving an 18-year metamorphosis, becomes the umbrella, a repellent surface, a shield for the shit. More than slightly confused, personality split like billiard balls at break of each new day, pathetic pawns we have all been, deemed unworthy of outside intervention, social mores mitigated, tyrannical parental expression, corporal punishment passed on like grandmother's favorite rocking chair. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Life is never fair. No one to step in, to interrupt the cycle, not at least until the first spark of resistance, a hand slap now and then, teachers to reinforce sit down and be quiet, and God forbid the first mumbled curse word, early onset unacceptable, sent home with a note, parental punishment implied. This, of course, is not a tale of kindness, a village nurturing body and soul, a boy's tumultuous transition into adulthood, cliched with the occasional knee scrapes and embarrassing incidents, stumbling awkwardly over unimagined social graces, the perils of puberty unfold, this the dilemma of never fitting in, of third grade ridicule, of seventh grade torment, somehow making it to the 12th grade gaunt and shaking, all the while tripping on unmentionable sexual innuendos, the teen with no sense of timing, no constants for girlfriends or dating, far too busy doing everything possible to stay out of everyone's way. A life without solace, without comfort for family or friends. Okay, so who am I kidding? There were no friends. This world of nightmarish conditions, infinite, endless, no curtain to pull aside, no windows or doors to swing open, no portal to reveal a proper family, Better Homes and Gardens, Let's Be Normal edition. This is the blueprint for a man-made structure, built on fear and hate, the bricks and mortar of anger and rage, the nails of resentment and distrust, the nuts and bolts of various other murderous traits. Looking right and left, then right again, before crossing into another room, this, the day-to-day routine, walls all seeing yet mute the consequences of one misstep, the splinters of misery, the cracks of wrath, the scuff marks of a terrible codependency. Wearing the mask of no opinion, the costumes of unforeseen circumstance, emotions dulled like unpolished silver, thoughts whispered lest they be overheard. The world is as make-believe as anything real. Boundaries and feelings ignored, enthusiasm trampled, the remnants of hope pounded into the ground, eventually to become as vulnerable as any other snowflake drifting on the wind. The seething cauldron of contempt, stirred by conditions beyond control, a scarring factor every time the kettle is tipped, and no means to ever imagine yourself far enough away.